Today, we're diving into an AI tool that can turn a simple text prompt into a fully produced song. It's a tool called Suno, and it's basically teaching us a whole new way to compose with code.
So let's start with a pretty wild thought. What if you didn't need to play an instrument or even know a single thing about music theory to make a song? What if all you needed were the right words? I mean, that's the core promise behind this whole new wave of creative AI, and it's completely changing what it even means to be a musician.
And that's exactly where Suno comes in. It's this browser-based AI that's built to let literally anyone, I'm talking a total beginner or even a pro producer, create a full-length song just from text. Pretty cool, right? But to really get a handle on its power, you've got to know how to talk to it.
All right, so when you first jump in, Suno basically gives you two different ways to go, and it all depends on just how much control you want over your final track. Okay, you can think of it like this. Simple mode is kind of like your sketchbook. You just throw a general vibe at it, and the AI just runs with it. But then you've got custom mode, and that's for when you have a very specific vision in your head. You've got your own lyrics, you know the structure, you know the exact style you're going for.
So let's break that down a bit. With simple mode, the AI is doing all the heavy lifting. Lyrics, style, structure, the whole shebang. It's awesome for just messing around and seeing what happens. But custom mode? That's where the real magic is. See, you bring your own lyrics, and this is the important part. You can use a specific set of commands to control every single piece of how that song gets built. And those commands, that syntax, that's the real key here. To really, truly unlock what Suno can do, you kind of have to learn its language. It's just a set of simple commands, but they let you direct the AI with a ton of precision. Yeah, this is what's called Suno's prompt syntax. And I know syntax sounds a little scary, but don't worry, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. The best way to think about it is it's just a way to format your text to give the AI super clear instructions. It's almost like you're writing a screenplay for your song. It really just boils down to three main parts. First up, you've got your global parameters to set the overall vibe. Then, you use section tags to build the song's blueprint. And finally, you sprinkle in some instructional modifiers to add all the fine details. Let's walk through them one by one. Okay, first up, global parameters. These are your big picture commands. You just pop them in square brackets right at the top of your prompt. Here, you're telling Suno the song's title, the genre, the tempo, the mood, everything. And this is so crucial because it lays the entire foundation for the song before the AI even thinks about generating a single note. All right, next you've got section tags. This is how you literally build the blueprint for your song. You're using terms we all know, right? Like verse and chorus, just putting them in those brackets. And by doing that, you're telling Suno exactly how you want the arrangement structured. You can even get super specific with stuff like guitar solo or synth pad. And last but not least, you get to add all the cool fine details with instructional modifiers. This is where you actually get to direct the performance. So you can use parentheses for spoken lines or whispers, you use those curly braces for backup vocals, and you can even use asterisks to call out specific sound effects, like, you guessed it, a heavy bass drop. So when you put all of that together, you get a prompt that looks something like this. And I know, at first glance, it might look a little intimidating. But think about it. You now know what every single piece of this does. You've got the global parameters up top, the section tags building the structure, the backup vocals, the sound effects. You've basically just learned how to conduct your own personal AI orchestra. How cool is that? But, of course, like any new groundbreaking tool, Suno isn't perfect. Not yet, anyway. It has some absolutely incredible strengths, but it's also got some real limitations that you definitely need to know about. So let's talk about the good stuff. What really works? Well, for one, the speed is just mind-blowing. We're talking about generating a polished track in a matter of seconds. It's also insanely versatile. It can handle just about any genre you throw at it. And the vocals, they can be surprisingly realistic and emotional. Plus, the whole interface is super clean and easy, so anyone can just jump in and start creating. But there are definitely trade-offs. You don't really have that fine-grained note-by-note control over a melody. And editing, yeah, that can be a real headache. You try to fix one tiny little thing and it can just randomly change the entire track. And those vocals, while they're often great, can also be a bit inconsistent. You'll sometimes get these weird little audio artifacts or pitch jumps. So where is this all going? I mean, Suno clearly isn't planning on just being a simple text-to-music generator. They have much bigger ambitions.
What we're seeing is the platform quickly turning into something that looks a lot more like an AI-powered digital audio workstation, a DAW. It's becoming this full-on creative suite, and it's really starting to blur the lines between just generating an idea and actual professional production. And honestly, the pace of development here is just staggering. I mean, they recently launched Suno Studio, which is basically an in-app workstation. They announced a massive $250 million funding round and a huge partnership with Warner Music. Then, just a few months after that, they rolled out a new version with one of the most requested features they've ever had. So, these are the big things pushing Suno into the future. You've got Suno Studio, giving you a place to edit your tracks right inside the tool. You've got the Voices feature, which is wild. It lets you actually capture your own singing voice for the AI to use. But, that Warner Music partnership? That might be the biggest deal of all. It really points to a future where these AI models are trained on licensed high-quality data, and that could be a total game changer for the entire industry.
And this quote here from Sono's co-founder, Mikey Schulman, I think it really nails their whole philosophy. He says, "The best music starts with a human." The goal isn't to replace artists, it's to expand what's possible, to take the unique taste and the ideas that only a person can have and just amplify them. Which kind of leaves us with this one final really fascinating question. We're moving past the idea of AI as just a tool, and we're entering an era where it's becoming a genuine creative partner. So the question isn't if AI will make music anymore. The real question is, what completely new kinds of music, what new genres and sounds are we going to invent together? What do you think that future is going to sound like?